Alright, my Path of Exile fans, welcome back to our fourth tutorial in this series, and today we are going to basically be discussing the passive skill tree. This is the heart and soul of your character. You will go to this tree to basically make your entire build. As you complete quests, as you level up, you will basically gain passive skill points, and as you can see in this little crossbar right here, this little button down here, this is where all your passive skill points will allocate. If you see this up and you see a 1 through 10 or 20, you basically have skill points you can allocate for your character. Now, let's jump on into this and left click on this. Now, you guys are basically going to be seeing this for the first time if you are a brand new player. Don't let this overwhelm you. A lot of people see this and they're like, holy hell, what did I just get into? This is not as complex as it looks. It can be, but it is not. Do not be afraid of this because this is only a fraction of the tree. Your other characters, you'll be able to start in different starting zones and get different types of skills. But for this build, we are going to be focusing on minion nodes, life nodes, all res nodes for early game until we get the gear with the all res on it we need, cast speed if needed, and then just a whole other bunch of shenanigans, including +1 to certain minion gems and other exploding minion type ordeals. But for early game, like I said, do not let this overwhelm you. This is a very simple setup. Now, the first thing I want to touch bases on, you can refund your passive skill points. So if you misclick and put something somewhere you don't want to, or you are eventually level 90, you get that far and you do not like your build, you can respec this entire tree. This is not a set tree. Basically, what you will be acquiring or buying are items called Orbs of Regret. These will periodically drop as you play, but if you don't, you can either buy them from the vendor for Orbs of Scourings, or you can buy them from other players for Chaos, etc. And this will basically allow you to refund your passive skill points. So, example, I have 1 point to allocate. You put it in here. Click apply, and like, oops, I didn't want to do that. Okay, we have 0 refund points right now. You will get X amount of refund points as you progress, level up, and do quests. I think you get a total of 20. Don't quote me on that, but you get somewhere in that field free. So you do get a couple, but if you need more than what you've already acquired free, you can get an Orb of Regret. You're going to right click on this item. Boom, we got a refund point now. So we're going to click on refund passive right here. Click on the node we do not want, and we can refund it. Yes, you guessed that right. We got our point back, ladies and gentlemen. Ain't that just amazing? Now, here is the trick to this. You guys can only refund 1 node at a time. So what I mean by that is if we have 10 refund points, you need to refund them in the order going backwards. I cannot refund this node right here if I've trucked all the way up to here with these other 3 nodes and get all 4 back at once. You need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 backwards, and then you will get all 4 of the points. You can't just go, these 4 are allocated. You cannot just refund this node and get all 4 back. You got to do each one individually. Now, enough talk about the refunding. Let's start talking about how you find the nodes you want on this tree. There is a search bar right up here. If you know what you are looking for, I'm going to use minions as the prime example because we are doing a summoner build. We are going to be trekking down the right path of the tree for the witch. The left path is more towards caster and spellcaster orientation, where you get cast speed, you get spell damage, and then you just get 3 generic intel nodes right here. So we're going to be trekking down this path. Now, I want to find specific minion damage nodes. This is your first time playing. You don't know where all these nodes are on the tree. You're looking at this and like, oh my god, I'm going to rip my hair out. Where do I go next? So, without an actual build guide you're following, you can come up here and you can literally search minion, type in minion, and then basically every minion node magically starts flashing on the tree. Ain't that just amazing, guys? GGG actually had a brain when they put this in. Yeah, I know. For the longest time, we didn't have this function, and it's like, yeah, they finally put it in many, many years ago, but yeah, it's like a progression thing. And here we go. we got all our minion nodes highlighted. Obviously, you can see we got plus damage and attack speed and cast speed right here. So we are going to be checking up this right path to start with. Now, until you get gear with life and all res, etc., I would highly recommend you take these life and mana nodes right here initially. If you're having trouble getting your cast off for your minions while you are fighting and constantly being hit, you can take these nodes right here, which will give you a chance to ignore stuns while casting. Very big early game, especially if we're going to be playing Summon Raging Spirits. Don't want to be stun locked while you're trying to get a cast off. And then obviously we are going to be trekking up here. You get 2 nodes, which give you +1 to zombies, +1 to skeletons, and there is another one up here which gives you specters, zombies, and skeletons. These 2 are key if you are playing with specters, zombies, or skeletons. It definitely helps you early game. And obviously you need to do some trekking to get up here, but don't be alarmed. You get plenty of skill points early game. So this is going to be kind of just a 101 description of the passive skill tree. I'm not going to go too in-depth in the guide right now because that is going to be for a future tutorial. This is just to give you a brief overview of how the passive skill trees work and everything. So, but if you do want to continue to like early game, if you're just watching this and then you don't want to do the next tutorial, you can kind of skip over here because this is going to give you duration on your minions, and then this will also give you damage and increased damage if you use the minion skill. This is very, very OP in the like mid to late game where you're summoning minions constantly. It just gives you a flat 30% damage buff across the board. Now, there are, as I've said before, 3 to 4 different types of minions. You can play golems, which are a summon type minion. You can play skeletons, which are another summon type minion. We have zombies, specters, and raging spirits. Summon raging spirits are minions, but it is a whole different type of minion. They're more like homing bombs in the end game, which we will definitely get into as the build progresses. So hope you guys found this educational. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I will try and address them in this video or a future video coming up.